more people making discharge from the recovery, and we have a total of 2,210 people remaining in quarantine. And there are 54 patients with severe or critical conditions. We had 4 additional fatalities. I extend my deepest condolences to the deceased and the members of the bereaved families. Here are the major updates of our domestic infections. In relation to a sauna facility in Seoul's Gangseogu district, we have 8 additional cases being confirmed, and the total has now been raised to 9. And in Gangseogu district, we have a hospital in relation to this case. We also have the first index case being confirmed earlier this month. We have 9 additional patients being confirmed, and a total of 10 people have been confirmed to date. And in relation to a nursing hospital in Nohanggu district in Seoul City, we have 9 additional cases being confirmed. Total, we have 10 cases being confirmed to date. And in Dongdaemun-gu district, we have the Ace Hope Care Center. And in relation to this case, we have 6 additional cases being confirmed, and a total of 59 cases have been confirmed to date. And in Dongjagu district, we have a cafe, and we have 7 additional cases being confirmed, and the total has been now jumped to 16. And in relation to a private academy in Gapyeong-gun district of Gyeonggi-do province, we have a total of 22 cases being confirmed to date. And in Gangwon-do province, in relation to a social gathering in Injae-gun County, we have 9 additional cases being confirmed, and in total we have 21 cases being confirmed to date. And in Chungnam, Cheonan City, in relation to a call center there, we have 1 additional case being confirmed. And in relation to Jeonnam Province, Gwangyang City Company there, we have 5 additional cases being confirmed. A total of 19 cases have been confirmed to date. And also in relation to a Jeonnam, Suncheon City Bank, we have 2 additional cases being confirmed. And in relation to a married couple in Gyeongnam Sacheon City, we also have more cases being confirmed, raising the total to 20. And recently in Seoul, Gyeonggi Province and Gangwon-do Province, we are seeing increase of the on-day increase of the cases, and we are highly concerned of a massive outbreak here in these areas. So we are urging the public to also muster their strength once again to fight against COVID-19. And in August, we remember that we had a massive outbreak here in the metropolitan area, and we were able to contain the virus under 100. However, this week, we had about 124.4 cases on an average, so we see the number exceeding 100. As you can see on the paper that we have provided, we have about 83.4 average cases here in the metropolitan area, and also different numbers for different regions as well. And we have recently seen Gangwon Province, Chungcheong, and also Chungnam Province. We have seen sporadic outbreaks here in these areas that are far from the metropolitan area, and we are seeing an increase of the spread of the community transmissions. And certain districts and certain local governments also have the possibility to mull over the heightening and intensifying and then raising the number of social distancing measures. So first of all, the primary goal of the quarantine authority is to contain the on-day increase so that we can maintain social distancing of level 1 continuously, and we will also make sure that we will carry out detailed quarantine measures to contain the virus. And we will have an crackdown on the nursing hospitals as well as other vulnerable facilities. And we also have, under this scheme, we have expanded the massive testings for the nursing hospitals for the nationwide, and we will also carry out regular testings as well for every 2 weeks in the metropolitan area and every 4 weeks in non-metropolitan regions as well. And currently, we have seen that 49 cases of COVID-19 cases have been reported from this massive preemptive testings. And to this end, we are currently carrying out disinfection quarantine measures as well. And as for the highly vulnerable facilities, we will continue to look into these inspections going forward. And we are also cooperating with the government's ministries as well as local governments. And we are carrying out detailed quarantine measures as well. And we have been taking into consideration the current and the latest community outbreaks and cluster outbreaks, as well as the higher spread of the virus. And we are also focusing on intensifying our quarantine and training and testing and tracing in these areas as well. And moreover, we will be exerting our full efforts to expand the number of testings in order to distinguish and identify patients at an early pace. And we will also revise our guidelines so that we can expand the people who are targeted for these testings. And we will also direct people to go to the screening centers as soon as they are guided to do so by the local hospitals. And next, we will also provide some updates on the analysis of the genetic information of the Korea's COVID-19 outbreak. And we have seen that until April, we have seen SV group. However, starting from May, we have seen GH group strain of the virus being detected here in Korea. And according to the WHO's Committee on Sharing of the Information of these vaccines, we have also heard that they have reclassified the major gene strains to GH, and we have done the following as well. And we have found that about out of 1,100 we have about 2 cases which are under the GH strain, and we also have contaminated these amino acids from these virus strains as well, and we see a low relation to the case that have been reported by the WHO. And in order to contain this further spread of the virus, we have also put in place mandatory compulsory on the wearing a face mask in the public, and for those who violate these measures, they will be subject to fines and penalties as well. And this is to secure and ensure the safety of our public, and you need to cover your nose and mouth when you are wearing your face mask in the public, so please abide by these measures going forward. And starting from this week, especially we are in the Thanksgiving week this weekend, so we believe that there will be many gatherings and events during the weekend. However, we also asked for the public to also take into particular precaution that we could have possible outbreak, and we also ask you to comply with social distancing measures as well. And we are also concerned of possible large gatherings at religious institutions, and so we ask you to take particular precautions there as well. And we also have massive rallies being scheduled throughout the weekend, and at a backdrop against the widespread of the COVID-19 cluster infections nationwide, we could also ask you to refrain from going to these rallies, and we will also like to make sure that you do not violate any quarantine measures in these rallies, and if there are violations, these violations will be met with stern legal procedures. And we also ask you to go home as soon as possible following the end of the demonstrations. And also looking at the domestic outbreak here in Korea for the past week, we have seen about 124.4 cases on a daily basis, which is surpassing 100. And in the metropolitan area, we have 83.4 cases, that is, which is also very nearing the threshold of 100. And Gangwon-do province as well, they're also nearing the threshold of adjusting the social measures as well. And also this applies to the metropolitan area as well. And if we see the current upward trend continue for the time being, we will also have to mull over the possibility of elevating social distancing measures, which will also incur many difficulties for many people, as well as the livelihoods of the self-employed. And right now, there are many local governments, 6 actually have elevated the social distancing measures, and we need to make sure that we do not have further escalation of the daily cases, and we ask for your participation in this matter, and also ask for you to wear a face mask, also keep a social distancing, and wash your hands on a regular basis, and also continue to stay vigilant. And it has been some 10 months since the COVID-19 has first been reported here in South Korea, and also due to the easing of the social distancing measures, we have seen many people easing these vigilance and being complacent. And please remember that COVID-19 can spread at anywhere, at any place, and this is why the quarantine officials are faced with challenges and difficulties in containing the virus. However, if the public contains to and complies to these basic principles of quarantine, it will be of great help, and we ask for you to once again highlight the importance of keeping with your social distancing measures and hand washing, as well as face mask wearing. So these three factors are very crucial. In particular, if you are faced with situations when you cannot wear face mask, please remember that these could also be risky, as it can spread the virus massively. And please remember that mask wearing is to protect yourself, and also at the metropolitan area where we have increased risk of infection, please refrain from going to confined and crowded spaces, and please delay these gatherings or outings or gatherings. And we have analyzed the latest trends, and we have seen that they have spreading at diverse gatherings and events where people gathered, whether they be social gatherings or family gatherings. So please take particular precautions. And third, we need to also remember that nobody can be free from COVID-19 infections. If you have symptoms like fever or other respiratory symptoms, please take particular precaution. And also, after you have went to crowded indoor places, and after you have been going to the demonstrations, if you develop any symptoms, please visit a screening center as soon as possible.
지금부터 기자님들 질문에 답변 드리는 시간 갖겠습니다. 출입 기자단으로부터.
There you have it. We'll bring you more details on the briefing in our upcoming newscast at 6 p.m. Korea time. Until then, goodbye.
Mandatory mask wearing to prevent a resurgence